Translator's Preface. This book, The Mirror of Long Life and Health, originally titled The Impermissible Record, has been rendered into plain and accessible language, with chapters carefully arranged so that readers may easily comprehend its teachings and apply them to their personal cultivation. It is my earnest hope that people from all walks of life, especially the young, will, upon reading it, firmly resolve to uphold the virtue of moderation, guard against lust, abstain from sexual misconduct, and thereby secure longevity, health, and good fortune. Yet as the ages advance with dizzying speed, the moral climate of society steadily declines. Mankind's relentless pursuit of material gain and worldly success has eroded our ethical foundations, leaving the spirit impoverished and the winds of desire ever more pervasive. Many young people, caught in this current, have squandered their lives and ruined their futures. Families are broken, and social disorder grows graver by the day. If we do not intervene, individuals, families, and society at large will all suffer the consequences. It is my deep wish that this translation may serve as a modest remedy against the decadent habits of our time, and help turn the tide of sensual corruption. I also earnestly pray that virtuous, renowned, and influential leaders of society will exert their efforts to advocate restraint and righteousness, so that every person may abstain from misconduct, every life may enjoy health and peace, and our world may swiftly transform calamity into blessing, filth into purity, and darkness into light. My own wisdom is shallow and my virtue meager. In the 6 months I have spent on this work, I have proceeded with trepidation, revising repeatedly. If errors or omissions remain, I beg the compassionate reader to pardon my ignorance, appreciate my humble intentions, and kindly offer corrections. And good people everywhere take heart in sponsoring the printing of this book, so that it may circulate widely, awaken the deluded, and save the world, and not only individuals, but entire families and society as a whole shall enjoy peace and well-being. Accorded respectfully in mid-autumn of the Jiazu year 1934, by a humble translator who wishes to remain unnamed. Preface to The Mirror of Long Life and Health. Every human being desires longevity, robust health, flourishing descendants, and peace and good fortune. No one wishes for early death, extinction of lineage, or calamity and hardship. Even a child knows this, yet those who are greedy for sensual pleasures and indulge in illicit liaisons, for they may wish for longevity and wellness, act in direct opposition to their own aspirations. In the end, it is precisely their lust that brings about sickness, untimely death, peril, and a disaster. Even among married couples, some ignore the proper restraints and drown in excess, often resulting in weakened constitutions, fatal illnesses, and a ruin of their families, a pitiful and lamentable state. Hence, the wise men of old compiled the Impermissible Record, which sets forth the harms of lust, aphorisms on abstention, true accounts of blessings for virtue and calamities for vice, methods of self-restraint, and warnings about improper times, places, and circumstances. It was designed to awaken readers to vigilance and self-discipline. Now I, Yin Guang, have personally revised and expanded that work, giving it the new title The Mirror of Long Life and Health. I once had a disciple named Luoji Tong, an native of Sichuan who was a shipping merchant in Shanghai. In the year 1925, he fell seriously ill. Despite all medical efforts, both Chinese and Western, no cure could be found. His wife, in utmost sincerity, made a vow before the Buddha. She would adopt a lifelong vegetarian diet and chant the Buddha's name, praying for her husband's recovery. That very afternoon, Luo Jitong experienced a sudden, violent diarrhea, after which his illness miraculously vanished, and his complexion became clear and radiant. On the 10th day of the 9th month, he invited me to his home for a meal. I took that occasion to admonish him that, having just recovered from a grave illness, he must exercise great caution, while his vital energy had not yet fully returned. Yet when I saw him again at the end of the 9th month, his face was as pale as that of a corpse. I knew at once that in his weakened state, he had transgressed by engaging in marital intimacy. A few days later, he passed away. I was deeply grieved and remorseful that I had not explicitly warned him against this specific danger. By coincidence, at that very time, some lay people were preparing to print and distribute merit-making books, and I urged them to publish the Mirror of Long Life and Health, so that young men and women might learn to cultivate purity of mind and body, and not thoughtlessly violate the precepts of chastity, thereby averting premature death. May this book help many to practice abstinence and share in the blessings of long life and tranquil health. Again, 10 years ago, the son of a wealthy merchant went to Japan to study medicine. One day, while riding a tram, he fell and broke his arm. Not long after the bone had been set, he returned home to congratulate his mother on her birthday. That very night, he slept with his wife and died the next morning. It should be known that anyone with a bone injury must abstain from intimacy for 100 days or more. Unaware of this prohibition, he traded a moment's pleasure for his precious life. How lamentable. From this, one can see that countless millions in this world have perished because they knew not these prohibitions, or because they recklessly indulged their lust. From ancient times, even emperors, who enjoyed the greatest fortune, often failed to live long lives due to one indulgence. It has always seemed to me that nearly 8 or 9 out of 10 people die directly or indirectly because of lust. This is why I've taken it upon myself to circulate the Mirror of Long Life and Health. May this book be valued by many kind-hearted people who will see to its wide printing and distribution. May all under heaven come to understand that indulgence in illicit pleasures, or the neglect of due restraint, affects not only one's own honor and shame, and that of one's ancestors and parents, but also one's own life and death, success or failure, and the virtue or decline of one's descendants. May all people henceforth strive earnestly to abstain from lust, so that they do not harm their bodies and shorten their lives through craving. In this way, they may preserve their health and longevity, strengthen the constitutions of their offspring, and cultivate upright hearts, bringing glory to their forebears and honor to their families. This is my constant and sense-lit prayer. If this can be achieved, it shall be not only the blessing of all people, but also the fortune of our nation. Written in the spring of the Ding Mao year 1927, by the monk Yin Guang, ever mindful of his unworthiness. Preface to the re-engraving of the impermissible record. The calamity of lust is fierce and cruel beyond measure. From ancient times to the present, how many have lost their kingdoms, ruined their families, and destroyed their very lives because of it? How many have shattered their once strong constitutions? How many have shattered their once strong constitutions? Who harbored lofty aspirations to become sages or worthies, have seen their willpower crumble and their ambitions come to naught? Even worse, some who wore the garb of civilized beings have committed acts that defy heavenly principles, and violate human ethics. Deeds befitting beasts. After death, they fall into the realms of hell, hungry ghosts, and animals to suffer retribution. Such cases are everywhere, too numerous to count. The harm of lust is so terrible and fierce that it strikes dread into the heart. Therefore the sages and worthies, moved by compassion and pity, have especially revealed to the world the principles and examples of blessing for virtue and calamity for vice, hoping that all may awaken, curb their desires, restore their innate goodness, and share in the blessings of longevity, health, and peace while forever escaping the misfortunes of poverty, illness, and premature death. This is precisely why the impermissible record, now expanded as the Mirror of Long Life and Health, was compiled. A layman named Zhang Ruiz Ang wished to reprint this book and asked me to write a preface to explain its significance. In the city of Chang'an's Yan, young people were fond of cricket fighting. There was a case of 3 brothers who, one night, went to the outskirts to catch crickets in a graveyard. Suddenly they saw a beautiful young woman. Delighted, they rushed forward to seize her, but she abruptly transformed into a horrifying apparition, blood streaming from 7 orifices, her tongue protruding a full foot. The 3 brothers were so terrified that they all dropped dead on the spot. The next day, their family found them and managed to revive one, who then told the story. Even he remained gravely ill for many months. This case teaches us that external beauty conceals the most fearsome impurity, enough to destroy one's life. Hence, whenever one sees a person of dazzling charm, one should regard them as that hanging ghost. The long time extended, thus shall lustful thoughts be quelled, and one shall not be deceived by the false mask of loveliness. And Buddhazako Yaman taught those heavily burdened with desire to practice the contemplation of impurity reflect that the alluring form is merely a thin layer of skin. If that skin were torn away unopened, one would find within only pus, blood, bones, and organs filled with excrement and urine, foul, putrid, and loathsome. From this we know that there is truly nothing in that beautiful skin and its contents to be loved or desired. May people often practice this contemplation, and in time their minds will become naturally pure and no longer deceived by the false beauty of that thin veneer. If when lust suddenly surges and self-control wavers, one should immediately visualize the other's organs of intimacy as the mouth of a venomous serpent, and one's own body as entering that mouth to be bitten. At that thought, for the heart will recoil in terror, the hair will stand on end, and the evil thought will instantly cease, leaving the mind cool and clear. Written by Yin Guan. Preface on Ethics from the Impermissible Record. Heaven is our great Father, earth is our great Mother. All men and women are born of their nurturing grace and are their children. Since we are all children of heaven and earth, we should regard every person as our own brother or sister, protecting their physical and spiritual well-being and supporting their moral integrity. Those who do so shall surely receive the protection and support of heaven and earth, and be granted abundant blessings, long life, and success in all things. Conversely, if one defiles and violates the children of heaven and earth with wanton lust, one shall certainly diminish one's blessings, shorten one's lifespan, extinguish one's lineage, and after death suffer for hundreds of thousands of eons in hell, unable again to obtain a human body. This calamity is self-wrought. It is not due to any lack of compassion on the part of heaven and earth. Simply put, place yourself in an other's position if today you saw someone violating your own wife, daughter, or sister. Would you not burn with rage and pursue them? Reverse the thought. When you see a person of attractive appearance and conceive a lustful intent to defile them, are they not someone else's wife, daughter, or sister? If one cannot reflect thus, one is worse than a beast. Why? For because beasts lack wisdom and do not know ethics, so they act indiscriminately, but humans who clearly know right from wrong, yet defy moral principles, are indeed lower than animals. Moreover, the retribution for such beastly lust is extreme and fierce. Not only may one lose one's life at any moment, never reaching old age, but one brings disgrace upon one's family and ancestors, spreads an evil name throughout the community, and passes on tainted diseases to one's descendants for generations. After death, one endures the bitter punishments of the three evil realms: shell, animal, and hungry ghost. These retributions are terrifying beyond measure. Therefore, one must never commit actual misconduct. The Buddha's Sutra of 42 chapters teaches, regard elderly women as your mother, those older than you as your elder sister, those younger as your younger sister, and young girls as your own daughter. Thus shall lustful thoughts be extinguished. The Brahmayala Sutra also teaches that, from the perspective of countless lifetimes, all men have been my fathers and all women my mothers through endless births. I have been nurtured and brought forth by their toil. Therefore, toward all men and women, we must maintain hearts of filial piety and compassion, protecting and supporting them. How then could we harbor thoughts of defilement? In the Ming Dynasty, there was a student whose lust was powerful. He often tried to restrain it but failed. He sought advice from Master Wang Longxi. Master Wang said, "If someone told you today that a famous courtier nearby was actually your own mother, daughter, or sister, would your lustful thoughts still arise?" The student replied they would cease. Master Wang continued, "Thus you see that lustful thoughts are originally empty, you only mistake them for real. If everyone could regard all women as their own mothers, daughters, and sisters, and all men as their own fathers, sons and brothers, not only would evil lust never arise, but one could even transcend birth and death." The book The Impermissible Record is most sincere and earnest in its exhortation to abstain from sexual misconduct and awaken the deluded world. Besides, Mr. Zhang Wei's Ang, in his compassion for others, sponsored its carving unprinting. Mr. Wu Zixiang of Taikang, Jiangsu, also had printed in large quantities Master Ray, and his returning from the Sea of Desire, hoping to sound a clarion call against lust. In 1921, I myself raised funds to print 40,000 copies of Master Ray N.S. his complete works, and many other places have reprinted them. Now I sincerely pray that virtuous men and women, both at home and abroad, who possess great compassion, will broadly distribute such texts on abstaining from lust, so that they may circulate everywhere. May fathers and mothers instruct their children to abstain, elder brothers and sisters encourage their younger siblings, teachers admonish their students, friends exhort one another, and spouses mutually counsel restraint, even marital intimacy being kept within due bounds. Then all people shall understand the harms of misconduct, resolve to abstain as firmly as a mountain, and guard their purity as preciously as jade. Thus shall all enjoy long life, health, and peace. Family shall be safe, and auspicious social customs shall be pure, and the nation shall be governed by morality and enduring order. May all virtuous people in this work of exhorting against lust, purifying hearts, and saving the world, step forward with compassion and let no one else take the lead. Zhen Guang.